Kumbaya, my lord. This isn't just kumbaya talk. Purpose drives impact. Looking to empower up your day? Tune in to Evolve Together with Empower People on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. Join me, host and Empower People founder Tiffany Joy Greene, MBA, as I bring dynamic leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs to share their journeys, challenges, and successes while driving their purpose to drive positive impact and empower people. Empower People is an organization that provides education, connection, and support to mission and purpose-driven leaders to drive positive impact and empower people. Catch us every Tuesday at 5 a.m. on ESPN Richmond and join Empower People today. What are you waiting for? We even have a free membership. That's right, free. Visit www.empowerpeople.org. That is MPWRPeople.org. You can also visit us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Evolve Together. Welcome to Evolve Together with Empower People, the show that brings you inspiring stories, expert insights, and transformative advice on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. I'm your host, Tiffany Joy Greene, MBA founder of Empower People, otherwise known as Princess of Purpose and Manic Maple, and some people may have other names, but I'm not going to repeat them. Also with me is our co-host, Chris Mayfield, who is the Hope Dealer, the legal hope dealer. And each week we will dive into topics that are rooted in how purpose drives business and positive impact. To learn more about Empower People, you can go to www.empowerpeople.org. That's MPWRPeople.org, or find us on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Remember, #Empower People. So now today, let's dive into our topic. Chris, today we're going to talk about Human Genetics 101, and I will never stop saying that joke because it's just funny to me. And maybe I'm the only one laughing, but is it not still funny if I'm laughing? I mean, that's a philosophical question for another day.
If a
So,
tree falls in the woods, right?
oh, let's bring it back. So I don't know if you knew this, Chris, but I was also a philosophy major, so be careful when
Oh, okay, good. Hey, we like philosophy.
we love it. Philosophy is the root of science.
That's right. Yep, agree.
So today we're actually going to talk about something completely different, something we never talk about.
Purpose.
Never.
We never talk about purpose, Tiffany. Let's dig into that a little bit.
Good idea. Let's do something new. We're going to talk about purpose, and we're going to talk about culture, and we're going to talk about training. How does that sound?
Let's do that. Let's do all those things. Yes,
And then
I'm
we're
here
going to
for
solve
it.
the world. We're going to say 5 minutes, and we're going to solve the world's problems in the last 5 minutes of the show. Let's do that.
Let's do that. It's good to have a long-term goal.
We only need 5 minutes for that.
You only need 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about how training actually complements culture, or actually doesn't just complement, but helps build education and all that. From your experience, Chris, in what ways would you say education actually plays an integral role in building a culture for an organization?
Well, it is, and like everything we ever talk about, right? It depends, right? So if you want a culture that is static and unmovable and never to be changed from now until the end of time, absolutely don't train anybody, right? And absolutely don't learn new skills. However, if that's not you, and I hope it's not, um, because what a terrible way to run a business. If you want growth, if you want innovation, if you want to expand your business beyond what it is today, you're going to need new skills. You're going to need uh, uh, people that are equipped to take on new roles and do things in a different way, or maybe even do new things that they've never experienced before. So if you don't have the ability and the desire to train new folks, to encourage them to learn, and be forthcoming on the things that they that you need them to know that they don't, if you don't allow space for that honesty and then growth, you're kind of defeating your own purpose. So, training as it relates to culture and growth is kind of fundamental, right? It's kind of the milk of we always give our kids milk to help them grow strong bones and calcium and all, right? It's the calcium, it's the milk, it's the beef of growing a business and innovation and progress. So whether that's a nonprofit business or a for-profit business, you got to have a good, strong culture of learning, education, and honesty, and you have to have the ability to train new skills, talents, and values.
I'm going to say this, and then I want to add to what you're saying, because shocking, if people have been listening to you and I think they're going to know we agree a lot. I mean, there are things that Chris and I will agree to disagree on, but most of the things we agree on. So I have nothing to refute you with on that topic. However, I just wanted to say, like, I think there is this may be a little bit of semantics, but when we start talking about training, to me, training, the word training and education are actually different. Training is like, I'm going to teach you how to do this thing. We're going to stop step 1, step 2, step 3. So like I'm in a production line. You're going to teach me all the steps to get this widget through that production line. That's training. Education is different. Education is a way to train, playing on a word here, to think, which it often includes what we critical thinking. You and I, Chris, have talked about that a lot. Because education is more than just teaching you how to do something. It's actually building what I call, like to tell my kids, the brain muscle. This is the most important muscle, and it trains you how to think. Because most of us who are in the business world, whether you own a business, whether you're managing in a business, doesn't matter. What's the one thing everybody will agree on hating? Why can't they just think for themselves?
Yeah.
Why do they have to be told everything?
Yep.
And that's also true for all parents.
Never heard that one from a parent perspective.
Never.
Yeah.
And why do even us as parents, let's bring it home. For a lot of us parents, why do we hear that? Because we at some point learned that we've trained our children not to think for themselves.
Yeah, because we tell them what to do at an early age.
So if we want to build that into even our family culture, right? We have to give them the opportunity, the educational opportunity to think for themselves. So I think you and I are in agreement, but I just wanted to, because I think a lot of times we all do it, right? We use these terms synonymously, but really education and learning is different than training.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Because I just said that, I liked what you said. So I want to be devil's advocate. I'm going to pretend right now I am a business owner of a house cleaning business. Why does this conversation matter to me? I mean, we go out there, we clean homes. Like, I just got how does education? I mean, obviously got to train my people how to clean, what our procedures are, what all that. But why does education matter to my business?
Well, I would say a few things. If you and I'm going to caveat this with I've never owned a cleaning business. So I would say generically, if you want to grow your business and you want your customers to give you referrals, if you want to have a culture of how people are expected to behave and how they're expected to act and interact with your customers in all situations, whether it's a very happy customer or a not so happy customer or a new customer versus a long time customer. If you expect them to interact with those people based on a set of values or based on your culture, then you have to educate them on what that looks like for your business. If you simply want them to show up and go through a series of processes and kind of leave it up to chance on how they'll interact with your customers and how they'll interact with your clients, whether they will be referral worthy when they show up at your client's house, then don't do training, right? Don't talk about culture. Don't talk about respecting your clients. Don't talk about respecting each other. Don't talk about open communication. Don't talk about any of those things, right? If that's what you want, you'll be highly effective. You'll turn over a lot of people probably. Hopefully you got a good pipeline because you're going to be putting as many customers out of your pipeline as you are into your pipeline. But you can choose to have that business model if you want. It's not a great model. You'll be far better served, and your clients will be far better served if you integrate that culture piece and that ability to adapt and learn and innovate in conjunction with, here's our processes for cleaning an oven. Here's how we clean sinks. But also here's how we take care of our clients, and here's how we ask for referrals, and here's how we do all those things that aren't part of that process.
Yeah,
So,
I would say I'd like to add too, like if I was a house cleaning business, right? I owned a house cleaning business. One thing I would not want is I would not want to be receiving calls and texts all day and saying, this just happened, what do I do? This just happened, what do I do? What do I do? And then you know what I'm gonna be saying by the end of the day? I might
why
as
do I
well be
have
doing
you?
all this myself. My God, nobody can think me. Like, it's that frustration part again,
Yep.
right? So what you and there's this idea, I think, for that there's this assumption being made that people just innately think for themselves. Well, if you're hired as an employee, you're not just going to suddenly think you are giving me the opportunity just to make all these decisions for myself. I got to know what you're saying. Hey, I am entrusting you with the power of critical thinking and making decisions on these things. These things, I'm sorry, do need to come to me. We'll talk about it. Like, welcome your opinion. I would welcome your advice, but the book will definitely stop with me on these things. The only way to build that is to build it through education. And because even if some people may innately have better skills in that area than others, it still needs to be fostered. It still needs to be coached to. It still needs development. And so if you're looking to have an organization that does not rely on micromanagement, education is your tool of empowerment.
Yep. And I would take that one step. Let's get a little bit more academic, if you will,
Okay.
right? Because a lot of these things, academics is kind of foundational in learning how to grow an organization, right? So when I'm going to send a person or a team out to service a client, whether it's HVAC, roofing, it doesn't matter, house cleaning, whatever it is. I want two things from them, right? I want to have confidence that they know how to do their job. They're task confident, right? Or competent. They know how to do the job. The other piece is that I have social confidence in them, right? They're not going to make me look bad. They're not going to cause my reputation to be damaged with my clients. They're not going to cause my reputation to be damaged with my vendors, my suppliers, whatever it is. So task competence and social trust are important in those employees that you're sending out, regardless of what your business is, or even if they're staying in your building and they're getting on the phone or they're returning emails or they're anything outside your walls or even inside your walls. But that doesn't come naturally to everybody. In fact, I would guess it doesn't come naturally to anybody, right? The way you want your business to run, you have to tell people and you have to educate them on, this is how we inside these four walls interact with clients. This is how we treat each other. This is how we deal with setbacks. This is how we celebrate victories. All those things are part of education that get intermixed with your training.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's about teaching people, like, based on who we are, this is what we do.
Yep.
Who we are, and then this is what we do. This is why we do what we do, because this is who we are, right? And which begs the next topic, which is, how does AI, artificial intelligence, play a role in learning and development? Like, okay, let's go back to that small business owner who might be listening right now and go, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Can't AI just go ahead and do all of that for me?
Yeah. There's, AI. First of all, embrace AI, right? If you are one of those businesses or one of those business owners who are saying, I'm just going to ignore AI, you do it at your own peril. There is a utility to AI, and we should embrace it wholeheartedly because it's only going to get better. And why do I say it's only going to get better? So AI, right? One of the things about AI that a lot of people don't understand is AI has to be taught, right? It has a certain set of starting places, right? If you say, give me an outline for a course, or give me an outline on how to do data entry into QuickBooks or into FreshBooks or something, it's going to give you that, right? It is absolutely going to give you the basic process in order in which you have to do that. Now, if you want that outline or that process outline to match how you're taking care of your customers, when you're taking care of your customers, and what anything outside of that process, you have to teach AI through repetition and through input to produce, and it then will produce that same outline, but with the considerations you've given it. So it's a hugely powerful tool, but you have to use it right. And you have to understand that just out of the can, most of the time, it's not going to be sufficient. Right? You have to teach it.
The irony, I gotta say this because it's killing me. The irony of this is first we started talking about educating your employees, right? Now we're talking about we got to educate our AI.
That's right. No, and for the same, not, and I'm not trying to compare people with computers, but for the same reason, right? Because AI doesn't know something until you tell it. Your employees don't know something until you educate them on it. So for the same reason,
software. I think I just
yeah.
yesterday, which is like, remember when all these new softwares were coming out, and everyone thought, oh, these software is going to transform the business, right? And then suddenly everybody realized, well, shoot, if you put garbage into the software, garbage comes out of the software. And the same is true for artificial intelligence. Because we have the word intelligence ingrained in AI, we seem to think that it can't produce garbage, but it actually can still produce garbage.
It absolutely can. Yeah. It absolutely 100% not only can, but it will if you aren't careful with the inputs into it. In a lot of cases, it's going to give you a very basic structure, a very basic knowledge base. But then how do you combine the art of management and people with that basic set of outputs from AI? That is the uh, uh, the difference between using AI very effectively or using AI and receiving no value or potentially even being harmed by it.
So let's say, again, let's go back. There's a small business. Let's assume a small business owner is listening to us talk about this. What should a small business owner really be thinking about in terms of education and artificial intelligence, AI? Like, what tools should they be actually considering? What really makes sense for like the small business owner, like the SMBs and the nonprofits? We know there's a lot of tools out there, but not everybody needs to use the same tool that Capital One, for example, is using. So what, in your opinion, should a small business nonprofit be looking at?
Well, first, particularly well, for any business, I don't care what size, get out there and look and see what is the best fit for you in your budget. Will it produce the content or produce the value that you need? One of the great and terrible things about AI is it's getting very specific. So one AI tool will be only for this industry or this decision process. So look around different AI tools before you make a decision. And then the next thing is once you've made that decision, test it out. Make sure that it is producing what you want it to produce. And when you do that, ask yourself, am I providing appropriate input to get the expected outcomes from my AI tools? So I would keep my mind pretty open. I then would go and just look. You could generically just say, hey, what is a good AI tool for restaurant owners, right? Or roofers or plumbers or whatever it is. And then look at the many that are going to be presented to you and figure out which one best suits your needs, and that you have the capability of growing, that you have the capability of feeding good quality information, data, culture, conversations. Because one of the things that AI is starting to get really good at is it remembers the conversations you're having. So if I say, give me a list of all software that do this, then I can go back and say, on that list, tell me the price. And then on that list, tell me how easy it is to use. On that same list, tell me how many users are currently. So it'll keep building and building and building. The more you ask it, the more it understands what you're doing, the better its outputs are going to be. So find one, look generally, find one that you think is going to suit your needs, and then provide good quality input.
I would say, I think it's really, really important to say this. I can tell you over the course of my career, there are small business owners I have known that would say, well, when I started my business, nobody trained me. I Googled it. I did a lot of Google searches. I watched YouTube videos. I did it. My employee, and there's this like, without directly saying it, there's this like, they're implying that their employees should be able to do the same. My advice is don't let AI be your predominant trainer. Don't let your employee open up a window on their computer with ChatGPT ready to go to answer any and all questions. Because the number one reason why you don't want that is because you now have lost complete control over what your culture of the organization is, what your core values. AI doesn't know you or your business at that point. They don't know what your values are. They don't know what's most important to you. And so now you're going to lose complete control over that direction, right? Which is important. And that's why I would argue, no matter what, no matter how far we go with AI, and we know it's going to go far. It's just like back in the day with internet, and we had all the, people would have these ideas that lots of things were going to go away, and here we are all these years later, and they're still in existence.
Mm-hmm.
They've just changed. AI should not be nor replace all human interaction.
Right.
So if you're looking at educational tools like learning management systems, and you're looking for something that's like promising all this automation where you don't have to do anything, you're doing nothing to build the culture of your organization. You've handed the ball, you've given the ball away to another team, let them do what they will with it, which is exactly what you don't want to do. It's okay to utilize automation for certain training, like, let's be honest, there's like Microsoft Excel. That's a step-by-step, right? That going back to earlier in the conversation, that's a training opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about education, when we're really talking about the culture, bringing in the culture of the organization, human interaction, learning from a human is integral to that experience. So one tip I would say on top of what you were saying, Chris, is don't allow or do not use AI as your only educational and training tool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it is not dimensional, and it will never, or I won't say never, uh, anytime soon, it is not going to replace that social and task trust uh, features of employees and employers. Not to mention, uh, I personally, when I get a sense that a company has relegated me to a chat box or an automated system, I personally am less likely to do business with that company. If I call my roofing company and I spend 20 minutes trying to get through their chat bot, I may call a different company. So depending on what your business is, but there's absolutely value in AI and chatbot and creating basic training materials with AI assistance, but it certainly should never replace the human touch uh, because that's what we want. We want humans and for good reason.
And that's why I will argue no matter how far down the road we go, humans will never be completely removed from learning and development because they'll always play a critical role. Roles may evolve and they'll shift and they may look a little different, but it's just like, I remember when people said radio will be gone. Right now, we should not be having radio, right? How
Right.
many people, yet it's still here. We wouldn't have cable, yet cable is still here. Now, we could make arguments, well, they've lost market share, maybe, but we just keep adding these new channels, these new functionalities. And then
Mhm.
what that does is it causes others to evolve and do different things. Shopping, boy, those patterns have changed too. So just remember that um, how long ago, I feel like I'm going to age myself, Chris, but how long ago was it Office Max? One of those guys had the easy button. You
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody wants that easy button.
Staples or
Still
yeah.
to this day, I want to hit it. I just want somebody to do it. I don't have to worry about it. Reality of the situation, we do get some easy buttons, but there's no button that says you don't have to touch it, you don't have to do it. And if you're doing that, guess what? You're facing some serious risk in your business. You don't want to give everything away.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the more you rely on AI, not in all cases, I guess, but to a degree, to your point, you give up control and you give up decision making. An algorithm is just it's an algorithm, and it can learn over time. It can do all those things, but how many customers are you willing to lose? How many clients are you willing to lose if your algorithm isn't keeping up and able to make decisions based on the values and purpose of your company? So,
And how many successful businesses have emerged because of instinct? I know there's people out there going, "Oh, she's saying
yeah,
something." But you know what? Instinct doesn't mean you negate or ignore data. It just means there's like this certain je ne sais quoi you got to pay attention to because it's called the human factor.
yeah,
And no matter how good AI gets, there's an argument to be said, well, it can get extraordinarily better, better than we can see today. But still, there's going to be that, as they say, the je ne sais quoi.
yeah,
And so I think, when it comes to education and training, we do not want to devalue or ignore the fact of that people need that connection.
yeah.
People need
Because
it.
if you open up Chat GPT or whatever AI you're using and ask it, tell me about the culture of my company. Tell me about how I choose to treat my clients and my customers. Tell me about how my staff prefers to learn. Tell me about how my staff prefers to make decisions. It's not going to know, right? So
It'll be a
you,
generic response.
it will be, and it'll be wrong as often as it's right or more. Uh, and that's why you, as the business owner or the leader, the manager, have to be culturally in control of those things, and to just make it handing off leadership and management to an AI platform is just terribly dangerous, and easily avoidable. right? Easily avoidable. You just have to know, look at what the outputs are and say, do these outputs fit my culture? Do these outputs fit my methodology for education? And if the answer is no, then do some more work with your AI. Don't relinquish that control.
And for the small businesses who are looking at education and learning and development for their employees, we don't have much time left, Chris, but I thought it'd be good to say, what should they expect when they're looking at different learning management systems? Should they expect these learning management systems to create the content, the courses, and all that for them? If so, like, what should they be looking at?
Yeah, so um, I'm pretty familiar with LMSs in the marketplace today. But to answer I guess the basic question is, I would not choose to have AI create my courses for me solely, right? AI, because it's going to lack those dimensions that we just spent time talking about. You cannot communicate your culture and yet, right? You can't communicate that through your system. So allowing AI to just completely generate your education is dangerous to your business. You certainly can use it as a place to start, right? But I would want complete control over what my users, what my employees are going to see, and then I would want to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, does the user experience match my purpose, and is it inside the normal bounds of my culture? AI is not going to do that for you. It's not going to do that assessment for you. So if I was looking for an LMS, I would want something that's within my budget. I would want something that is easy to use and that my employees would find easy to use. And I have the ability to control the content. And whether I create that content inside the LMS, which there are very few that allow you to do that, I would want to be able to control the tempo, the content, and the culture around the education, and which an AI environment's not necessarily going to allow. But that's what I would look for. Can I afford it? Will my people use it? And does it deliver the right cultural message and portray my values? Those are the things I would look at if I was looking for content creation and LMS.
I feel like we know of one that kind of checks off all the boxes.
It does, yeah. I mean, the
Is
Empower
it
People
Empower
LMS
Hub?
is, yeah, yeah. We spent a lot of time, energy, uh, research power looking for an LMS that provided those things. It was easy to use. It's intuitive. It's flexible. It allows you to brand your own materials, but also gives you some a place to start with the courses that are already in there that'll cover down on your compliance training. You can do your onboard training. You can do all kind of those routine training, but also have the flexibility to do more advanced education. So our LMS actually does answer a lot of those questions, and it's affordable and it's flexible and it's a great LMS to start with, right, and grow into, because it literally out of the box is ready to use for you. It's got the relevant courses that are easy to use, easy to understand,
And it's an
and you have complete
operational tool as well.
Yes, yep, agreed. So there's just for the price, and LMSs can be wildly expensive, or they can be so cheap that they don't have value. And what you want is that sweet spot, right, where there's value in that you're getting when you subscribe or you buy into the LMS. Am I going to get value of it immediately? In our case, yes, right. But you'll see some LMSs out there that have no courses in them. You just have the infrastructure to support the courses, right? So you have to develop your own. And you want to develop your own, but you don't necessarily want to do it on day one. So you want to invest in this LMS, and then you're going to spend however much time creating a course and putting it in there before it ever adds value. That doesn't seem very smart. I want an LMS where when I write that first check or I pay that first subscription, that's going to add value to my business immediately.
And with about 200 courses that we
Yeah.
have straight out the gate. And the nice thing is with the courses, like you can develop, we have all these courses, right? You can combine those courses into a learning track. And I would encourage anybody, whether it be with our LMS or another LMS, record yourself some conversation in between those courses. Don't miss the opportunity to build your culture. That's a culture building opportunity. So take advantage of the things that, so you don't have to necessarily build the whole thing from scratch. Take what we got or some other LMS system, and then add your je ne sais quoi to it. Build your culture. But again, like you said, Chris, you don't have to do it. Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, at least with this, you don't have to build it all from scratch. Go, oh my gosh, how do we start this? We already gave you the start, and it can only get better from there.
That's right. Your input will determine how robust and how effective your LMS actually is. You also can use the LMS not just as a training and education branch, but it can also be a conversation starter. So, you could ask an employee to watch a certain training video or to watch an education piece, and then have a coaching session around it, or have a larger conversation around it, or a feedback session about that particular training. So that the uses are almost limitless, right? For a way as a tool for you to really grab hold and take control of your culture, to take control of your education, and really reinforce with your employees your expectations and what it means to your company and your organization.
100%. And so today, for our Empower Hub, we have a tagline called Learn, Grow, and Earn. We really hunkered down on learn. We touched on grow, but we said nothing about earn. So we're going to have to reserve that for another show. Sound good, Chris?
That we absolutely can do that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll wrap up the show. Let me get my talking points so the people who are listening to this later on ESPN Richmond know exactly what the heck they've been listening to, so they don't feel like they're going through an existential crisis. But thank you for tuning in to Evolve Together with Empower People here on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. I'm your host, Tiffany Joy Greene, with co-host Chris Mayfield. And it's been a pleasure sharing this time with you. We hope today's episode inspired you, provided you valuable insights, and empowered you to take the next step in your purpose-driven journey. And no, we are not AI agents. We are real human beings. So don't forget to connect with Empower People on social media, share your thoughts, and join the Empower People community, where education, connection, and support is offered to mission and purpose-driven leaders to drive positive impact and empower people. Until next time, keep evolving, stay empowered, and remember that together we can achieve greatness. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the flip side. Old school, on Evolve Together with Empower People. Let's evolve together.